Hi everyone, it's Kathy Maxson. No, you are not seeing things. Welcome to July 2023. I'm going to do a Christmas pancake wreath with you today. So I'm just going to do a couple Christmas in July videos before I need to be working on fall and stuff like that. I just need to be getting ready for my holiday or my craft shows that I will be having. I think my first one is in September. So we're going to use a 14-inch wreath form from Dollar Tree. This is Ho 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 that I picked up last year from Dollar Tree. Some polypro mesh ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby last year. I'm going to use these two ribbons. They're both 2-inch ribbons. We're going to do in the pancake style. And then I got my red pipe cleaners. So what we're going to do, we'll just get started. We're going to do 12 sections. And remember, a pancake wreath is just going to make it thinner so it will fit better between, your doors. It'll be flatter. So you're just going to get your pipe cleaners. And what we're going to do, we're going to call the inside row 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we are going to do, on the outside row, we're going to be doing 6. So we're going to be doing at each crossbar. And if you want, you can always loop that around the bar so it'll stay at the crossbar. And just make it tight. And you can just do it like once. I think I'm going to do like a cruffle method more. So we're going to curl it and on each end, and then we'll ruffle it up the middle. So we're going to give it a little more body. So what we're going to do at each crossbar on the outside, and then so that's row 3 and 4, the 2 outside rows, and then we're going to put one in between these on the 2 inside rows. And then I'm just going to leave my pipe cleaners that way. So I will continue on and be back. Okay, I have all my pipe cleaners on the ring, the 14-inch ring. Now we're going to cut our mesh. This one I'm going to cut 22 inches. I think the last one I only cut 20. But this one I'm going to do the curls on the end. So I'm just going to be cutting them 22 thereabouts. I'm going to try to go up right in between the mesh wires. And then so what you're going to need, grab yourself some clips. We're going to curl up this end. I'm going to curl it. I'm going to try to keep the ends in. I want to keep it nice and as neat as I can. So I'm going to twirl it around like 3 times. So it gives me like a little curl on that end. I'm going to flip it around to this end. And I'm going to do the same. So when I have my curls in, then I'm just going to scrunch up the middle. So then we're going to get some curls on each end, and then it's going to be ruffled in the middle. So then what we're going to do is we are going to put this in our pipe cleaner. I'm going to push it down. You're going to crisscross your pipe cleaner nice and tight and give it a couple spins. So it's going to kind of look butterfly-ish. So I'm going to go around, cut them at 22. We're going to curl up each end. We're going to ruffle up the middle, and then I'm going to put them in on each outside pipe cleaner. This is what it looks like with all 6 of the outside rows with the mesh. What you could do, you could leave the curl side up. I put the curl side down. So now let's cut some ribbon. We are going to be cutting our ribbon. Both ribbons came from Sam's Club. We're going to cut our ribbon 14 inches long. And then what we're going to do, we're going to dovetail the ends. So I'm just going to put both ends together, even them up. I'm going to fold them in half. I think I went this way. Because when it was kind of funny because of how I folded it before. My stripes gave me a good angle to cut. Here. Fold it in half. So we're going to cut from the fold up to the corners at a diagonal. So in this way I can like keep right with my, and then that is going to give you the dovetail. So then what we're going to do, I have some of the green and red done. We're going to put these on top of each other. I'm going to put the stripe one on top. I'm going to fold them in half. And where the halfway is, I'm going to scrunch up the middle. And then we're going to put this in our tie over top of our mesh. And I don't plan on putting anything else in there. So I'm going to twist a bunch of times. I'm going to cut the pipe cleaner off. And I'm going to tuck the pipe cleaner ends under the ribbon. So then this is what you're going to have when you have your little bundles. So then all we're going to do is separate our ribbon. And get in there and fluff them out. So I'm going to do the red and green, red and white stripe, red and green. So I'm going to go every other one. So that's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to continue on. We can dovetail again. Fold it in half, match up your ends. Fold in half again. We're going to cut from the fold to the open, up at a diagonal, and then that gives us our dovetail. So I have another piece over there already with the green. So we're just going to fold them in half. Find our center, that's why I'm creasing it. Then I'm going to scrunch up the middle. And I'm just going to put it, you can even bend it downwards to start getting it in that position. And remember, this is the only thing we're going to be putting on the outside row. It's the mesh and the ribbon. So I'm going to cut those off. I'm going to tuck them up underneath my ribbon. And then we're just going to pull these out. And then while you are doing that, actually on my sign, I already glued some cable mounts on. So then that's kind of what it's going to look like with the ribbon. And I have to figure out, I'll probably make a bow. I just have to figure out what ribbon I'm going to use. So I'm going to continue around and we'll show you the outside. This is what it looks like. The outer row done, all the mesh and all the ribbon. So I finished cutting my mesh. Remember, we cut it at 22 inches. Do it again. We're going to roll. We're going to do like a curl ruffle. So we're going to curl the ends. I'm going to ruffle up the middle. So And I got both ends curled. Now I'm just going to ruffle it up the middle. So you see how my curls are up? When I put it in the wreath, I'm putting the curls down. So then we're just going to go into our one that we have here in between the bottom layers. Push down as tight as you can. And I'm going to make it look like the butterfly. So you see how this will cover your mechanics. And if you want, while you're at it, if you have all your ribbon and stuff cut and ready, you can actually get your ribbon in on this one as well. So then you don't have to keep touching the wreath. I don't think I'm going to put anything else in there. So I will do what I did in the bottom row. I'm just going to twist it a bunch of times, tuck that pipe cleaner up under our ribbon, and then we're going to fan our ribbon tails out. So then your mesh kind of peeks through where you have it on the below levels. So again, we're just going to curl up each end like 3 times, 4 times. Curl up this end. I'm going to get a pair of scissors, and then we're just going to scrunch up the middle. And then you could, like I said, you could leave it with your curl sides up. My curl sides are going down, and then you just put it right here in your next pipe cleaner. Push down, do a couple times. If you want, like I said, go around, put all your mesh in. You have your ribbon already. You just scrunch up the middle. We folded them in half. Twist a bunch of times. Cut off the pipe cleaners. And tuck them under. And then fan out your ribbon tails. And as you can see, if you did all your mesh and then trying to get up under here to put your ribbon in on your below your bottom row, that wouldn't have worked very well. You would be making a mess of your wreath. So I'm going to continue around, and I will show you when I have all the inside done. This is how it looks with both layers, the mesh and the ribbon. That's how it all looks. It's big, and like I said, so here's our sign. So then now all we have to do is decide if I want the sign in the middle. I can do a bow at the top, a bow at the bottom. It's a lot of sparkle. I mean, I have smaller, that stripe ribbon. I have some, just the plain red. I have some red and green. These are all 1.5 inches. I even have this red. So I can just do little fluff bows. I have this ribbon that says Merry Christmas, but that might clash with the ho ho ho. I want to see, I have some Santa ribbon. I'll have to look for it more. And then I even have some 2-inch. I even had this. This was one of my choices that I was going to do. instead of the candy cane stripe one. So this is what I have. So again, like I said, all I have to do is decide what kind of bow I'm going to put on it, or do I put my sign up here and make a big bow like I normally do with this type of wreath. I usually make the sign go up, like we'll make it so it hides these two mechanics up here, and then if I put a big bow here, it'll hide these mechanics right here that I have. So that's all I have left to decide, but then our wreath will be done. So I'm thinking that's coming out cute. Like I said, I'll have to figure out what ribbon. I'll have to look for my Santa ribbon. But that's all I'm going to do for right now, and I will be back with the bow. Let's get the sign attached. I put the pipe cleaners in the mounting cables. I think, oops, making the thing shake. I think we're going to put the sign at the top, and like I said, we're going to make a bow at the bottom. So I want to cover the mechanics up here. So then I'm just going to feed my pipe cleaners down through each side. Yes, you're going to have to go through the mesh. So just be careful so you don't snag it. And actually, maybe I don't have to, because I didn't do complete circles like the regular pancake style. Because remember, mine had the curls. I'm trying to figure out where this is. So I could probably do that. So we want it out there, so we're going to hide our mechanics, flip it over. This is where they come through. I got one here and one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this one underneath this crossbar, because I want, so the sign won't drop at all. And then the same over here, I got one on each side of the crossbar, again, so the sign won't drop. I'll cut those off later. Let's see how that looks. And then, you know, obviously we're gonna fix our ribbon. This ribbon got, there we go. See, that ribbon got stuck up under there. There's that one, that one, that one, and that one. Just to make sure that we're looking okay. Actually, I kind of probably do want it to come down a little, because I want it to hide these mechanics as well. So they hide the top ones mechanics, and then they're going to hide these ones here. And then when we put our bow, we'll hide these last two. So I went through all my Christmas ribbon, and I think I've come up with some to use. They're all going to be different than what I have already. So I have the green and red. I did find the Santa, and the only thing I don't like is these have silver, the sign has gold, so that may weird me out. We're going to do some sheer green, and then for the center loop and a couple loops, we got this red with the, like the snowflake, I don't know what they call that. Okay, so we're going to get the Bodabra. Trusty pink yardstick out. We can always make longer tails. So we'll do like 18, so that'll be a 36. So let's do a 36 piece for the tail. And like I said, if we don't like it, we can always cut it back. All of the ribbon except for the Santa one has been from Sam's Club. I should put these in first. I'm just thinking, because the Santa belt ribbon is more expensive than the others. So just try to figure out your tail loops without breaking the bank and cutting it off. So I cut a 36-inch piece. I'm going to put that down in our Bodabra. I mean, you can even do just like 1 or 2 tails. I don't have to do a tail of the Santa. And this I got from, this looks like a Joann Fabrics, so this must be from their holiday cheer. It was originally $10. I got it for $3, and there's only 8 yards on here. So that's what I'm saying. You want to be very careful with do we want to do full tail? So if that was 36, then we can do 32 or 34-inch tail on this guy. Let's do 32. And then that way it'll stagger it. And then hopefully I have enough for my loops. So fold it in half. I did my dovetail. Find our center, scrunch up the middle, and stick that in there. So then it's going to be shorter than the green and red. Now the Sam's Club ribbon, I don't really care how much I use, because it's all, well, not all of it, most of it is 50 yards. So I'll just cut that first. I do believe though I should get some more different greens. Usually they should be coming out with their holiday ribbon soon in stores near you, right? Okay, so there's all our tails. So we did that correct on this bow. I even have my pipe cleaner. So what I'm going to do is just kind of see over here, and how big do we want our loops? I think we're going to do 3 of this. So we can do like a 5-inch loop. So we're going to do a 5-inch loop. We'll pinch. I want to get somewhere so you can actually see. And you could always measure out, since you're doing a 5-inch loop, you would want to measure out 10 inches. And then pinch at 10, and then you can just then put it that way. So y'all know I like to just do my scrunch and twist. So remember, here's the bad side. We're going to scrunch it, and then you can measure. So you're just going to scrunch in the back and then twist. So then your good side, your pretty side comes up. This is a little thicker than most of the ribbon, which is good because you kind of want, it's wired. But this is like a better quality maybe than some other, like this one is really flimsy, the one with the zigzag and the polka dots. That one was really flimsy. So I did the one in the middle, and then I did one to the bottom top and one to the bottom one to the top and one to the bottom of that. So then we're just going to cut off some excess, and we're just going to stick it in our Bodabra to hold. So you can always, you know, fluff it out here. You can even have a ruler underneath, and you can just do all your measuring and that right as you're putting it into the holder. So we're done with that one. Yeah, I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had like 8 different other rolls of ribbon. And I was like, oh, let's try this and let's try this. I wasn't going to use the Santa one or the Santa belt one just because I didn't like that the silver and the gold didn't match. So I'm going to do a 4.5 inch loop. We're going to do 2 on each side. So again, we're going to pinch. And then here you don't have to twist. So if we're doing 4.5, that means we need to do 9 inch. So let's measure. You can do it this way, like I said, if you want. So I'm starting at my 10 and I'm at my 19. Just pinch. And then you just can loop it together like that. So I like seeing the belt there. And then, like I said, we're going to do 1 on each side. And this is a little flimsier. That red and green one is nice and sturdy. This is, that seems thicker. This is just, like a satiny. So, pinch and twist. Make sure we're even. Give me a cut. I'm going to put this right in our Bodabra. So then the idea here is to have your 2 peek in between the 3. Just trying to get my loops so they look like they're together or the same size. Then we're going to do the green next. And then the green, I think I'm going to do probably 3 again. So then we can go out there, we can go in the middle, and we can do over here. And we will do like a 4 inch loop. So we'll keep getting smaller as we go. So there's a 4 inch loop. So again, if you just want to measure, you can do your 8 inches to give you a 4 inch loop, and then you just put it that way. But I'm going to make it this way. That seems like it's bigger than 4 inches, huh? And then even though this looks the same on both sides, I'm still going to pinch and twist. And kind of like what we did with that first green and red, I'm going to put 1 loop on each side of that top one. This should actually go over here then. That's how we're doing And this will just bring a little more color of the green. We can cut these tails off later that I'm leaving extra. Just so there's my top one, there's a bottom, there's that. And sometimes your Bodabra, you know, will be too far open. Oops. So then this thinner ribbon, that's what we're going to do there. And then this ribbon, we'll do a center loop and 2 loops. So I'm just going to do a center loop. Y'all know I like my little loops in the middle. I'm just going to do a loop and pinch. And again, you see this is the wrong side. This one is velvety. I really like this one. This one, even if we want, we can just put like one right in the middle. We can do that. Let's do, we could probably do an 8-inch one as well. Is that going to take away? We can make it a little smaller. Do we want to just do 1, or do we want to do 2? I kind of want to do 2. So we can do 1 up, 1 down with our center loop. So again, we're just pinching in the back and twisting to get the pretty side up. Yeah, maybe. I was trying to make that one a little longer, but then I had it scrunched and twisted already. And then we'll cut that. And so since I can't put my loop in here, we can put our, I mean, the whole idea of the Bodabra is to slide your pipe cleaner, is to have your pipe cleaner down already and under your whole bow, spit it out. And then you could bring it up like this. And then you can hold it down. So I'm just gonna bring it up. But what I need to do is I need to get this one in here. So I'm gonna take my, trying to keep them, remember, try to keep them stacked really nice, because that's gonna help when we go to fluff it. So if they're not stacked nice, this is a big bundle. If they're not stacked nice, then you can't get a good tight this loop looks bigger than the others. This red and white is like a velvet with the white. I think they call it like a snowball. So let's get this into the wreath. So again, our bow's gonna go here and it's gonna cover these 2 down here. So I think like everything else, maybe I can slide it in between here. Let's see. And not mess up the mesh. So we make our bow there. I'm going to flip it over so I'm here at the crossbar. Pull all our tails down. See our green. There we go. There's this. And then we had our Santa belt. Then we had our green. And we had our red and white. And then on this side, that, our Santa belt. Here's our green. Just want to make sure that they're all going the correct way. There's that. And then what's just hard is, so I'm going to kind of hold it in place as we fluff. I may bring the sign down a little, so then it'll be closer to our bow. Like I said, I could fluff all day. Let me just kind of get these fluffed out just a little, just to give you a peek at what it looks like. And all these tails will go down. So again, it hides the mechanics for these two. Like I said, I think I'm going to drop the sign down a little. But this is our Christmas in July wreath. Pancake style, so it's really flat till you fluff the bow. I wish I could have put the bow up higher, but my wreath form is way down here, so that's right at the wreath form. So, hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching. Please make a comment to let me know, what do you want to see me make. I do have to start making some paper crafts for my craft shows, but it's some of the ones that I have videos on already. So I don't know if you want to just see me maybe do a live. I could do a Facebook live, maybe a YouTube live. And just, I need to make more of everything. You know, I need to make more Christmas pancake wreaths. I need to, you know, just make more fall. But it's all the same style, but it'll just be different themes. So let me know. Thank you for watching.